And now we have our next guest up, Maurice Thomas, and Maurice, we were talking backstage. Who was it? The Identity IQ. I want to hear about that.
Yeah,
And but first off, everything's about gratitude here. Everything's about gratitude, love, and being bald and beautiful and having a big, beautiful heart. So, or in Espanol, es corazón es muy grande. So, who do we need to thank for bringing you to our world, brother?
so you heard it a million times, and you're probably gonna hear it a million more times. But Jose Escobar, that's a man. That brother has a heart to for people, heart to serve, and he's always willing to just give of himself. And so yeah, he said, man, I got a spot for you, man. I need to bring you on, let you show some love in your leadership. And I was like, man, I appreciate it. And so yeah, thank you, Jose. So I'm sure you've heard his name a million times. You're
Oh,
probably gonna keep hearing it throughout the day. He's a star.
yeah, yeah. Leadership and Jose, they're it's kind of synonymous, right?
Yeah, I looked into the dictionary the other day, in the dictionary of the leadership, and he had that big old smile, a picture of Jose inside the book, and I was like, I know that guy.
Yeah, I tell you what, right before you really get into what you're going to share, can we adjust your camera a little bit? There's kind of a black border around the top, and then, oh yeah, oh yeah, that's much, much better. There's a little bit on the bottom, but maybe come a little bit close.
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Let's go back up a little bit.
No,
Dr.
actually,
Smiley might help.
Dino, no, I'm telling you, you got it. He's doing the vignette to showcase the baldness. We're going to make that a requirement moving forward, Maurice. This is beautiful. No more will we have the box where you get lost a little bit in the baldness. You're bringing the baldness upside down with the vignette to cause the vignette to show you as bald as a leader. So, Dino, this is brilliant. I cannot
And,
emphasize.
and who bought you the flowers?
My wife, some flowers I got from my wife, and she's never, yeah, she keeps them up.
Beautiful. All right. Well, let me turn this over to you. They've heard enough from me right now, and I love what you were sharing backstage, and I'm looking forward to everybody being able to hear it.
Yes, sir. Let's rock and roll. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here. Like he said, my name is Maurice, aka Big Mo, is what everybody calls me. Man of excellence is what Mo is. But also, it's not just my name; it's who I am and what I do. But when I usually travel and speak, I usually go by Shiron Thomas, aka Big Mo, and Mo is because I bring a message of empowerment everywhere I go. And so I'm grateful for Jose the invite. When I think about Dr. Smiley, I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here. I got a coworker that normally says every time he gets on a podcast, he say, "Hey, are you smiling?" And it's like I'm smiling. So he starts off all his podcasts talking about smiling. So thank you, Dr. Smiley, for the opportunity. But the reason why I want to mention my name, Shiron Thomas, is because I lead with that, but I have not always been proud of that name. And I'm a big story. I won't call myself the brand storyteller like Devo, but I love storytelling. And the reason why I talk about Shiron Thomas is because it's a big part of what I do and who I am. Because I remember 35 years ago, uh, even though that's what the name my mom named me, I hid that name for over 30 years because I was ashamed of that name. When I would go into the classroom and they would call that name out and they couldn't pronounce it. They'd be like, "Hey, Sharon, is Sharon here? Sharon Thomas here?" And I would just put my head down, knowing it was me. They had got to the point to where I would go wait till class was over with and say, "Hey, that was me you called, but that's not how you pronounce it." Or sometimes I go in class before class start, cross out Sharon and put Maurice on top across the top of it. So what I'm saying is I was ashamed of that name for so long. So I lost who I was in so many different ways throughout my life. Talking about leading. I always try to take the back seat of everything that I've done because of the shame of who I am. But eventually, I had a speaker coach maybe about 2 years ago, and she said, "Big Mo, you talk about leadership, you talk about being authentic, you talk about being your authentic self and being real, but and about identity, but don't nobody really know who you are. I like, what you mean? He's like, nobody knows your real name. I'm like, okay, and she said, Big Mo, listen to me. You talk about being authentic. You talk about being a leader. You talk about being having an identity and influence and being authentic, but nobody knows your real name. I was like, oh, okay. So I'm not even leading by example because I'm hiding who I am, my true self. So then that's when I developed the term everywhere I go. Hi, I'm Shiron Thomas, aka Big Mo, because I bring a message of empowerment everywhere I go. The sad part is my mom never got to see who I was and be proud of who she named me to be. But as I looked in the dictionary under the meaning of Shiron, it actually described my personality. So she didn't get to see me in the flesh, but she already knew who I was going to be. So I lead with that because leadership is about making those first steps. And I didn't learn. I know so many people have talked about so many points and have touched on every point about leadership. And if I just be honest, I didn't learn being a leader on stage. I didn't learn being a leader um, in the classroom or in the boardroom. But I found out how to be a leader pretty much laying in a hospital bed. I'm talking about waking up after a traumatic car wreck where I just hear the sounds of the machine beeping, not knowing if this is my last breath that I was going to take, not knowing if I was ever going to get a chance to see my family again or see life outside the hospital walls again. I'm talking about leadership, where I had to spend almost a year in the hospital. I had to learn how to walk again, had to learn how to talk again. But what I'm talking about, what do you do when you look into the mirror and you don't even recognize who you are? What do you do when your reflection don't even make sense? We still talking about leadership. So I had to come to a decision. We talk about leadership as making a decision. We know every day we're given a choice to make the right or wrong decision. And I had to make a decision. And it began in that moment when I decided not to give up. Talking about leadership. So when you decide not to give up, when you choose to rise, when the world is counting you out, that's leadership. When you choose to love and to serve, even when you're still healing. We talk about a lot of leaders, they do what they call leading while bleeding. But that's leadership. I'm talking about when you stand in the storm, when it seems like you're about to drown yourself and you're trying to help save other people's lives. That's leadership. See, real leadership, real influence. We've heard it already. It's not about a position. It's not about a title, but it's about presence. And I'm talking about people don't follow you because you're perfect. They follow you because you're being real. They follow you because you're being authentic. I'm talking about coming in that room with the energy that does it. I always say a real leader is not a thermometer where they just accept what's given. So all they can do is gauge the temperature. But a real leader comes in as a thermostat because we're gonna set the atmosphere. So I believe in me, but you gotta believe in yourself. I believe in me, so I believe that I can continue to shift atmospheres, to shift the rooms, to shift the environments because of the things that I went through and that I learned. And I'm not bragging on me. I just believe in the spirit that lies in me that can make an impact in others' life. See, every person that has made a lasting difference in somebody's life. What they done if they turn their situations or they turn their scars or their pain into purpose. I'm talking about they choose to grow over comfort. We're still talking about leadership. Now, I'm just talking about some of my, like I said, I'm a big storyteller. And I've even told my mentor one time, I said, I want to, for the rest of my life, I want to make an impact in men's life because when men start to understand who they are, when they start to realize who they are and their purpose, this world can start shifting. And my mentor said, Maurice, for you to really start making an impact, he said, quit trying. And I didn't get it. He said, quit trying. He said, we're human beings. He said, so human beings just mean just be. And once you continue to start just being who you've been called and your purpose to be and quit trying, you'll make an impact. He said, when you're trying to make an impact, he said it's based on performance. And when it's based on performance. He said it'll never be enough. So I'm talking about when you're a true leader, when you choose growth over comfort, you separate from those who talk about change, but decide to become the change. And so this is influence. What I'm talking about is, again, it starts with self. You got to dig deep down in self. And I'm just going with the flow. Ain't got any notes I had prepared, but I was like, I just got to go with the flow of the room, feel the atmosphere of the room. But the world needs more. The world needs more leaders. I'm talking about nobody that's not chasing the spotlights or moments, but they're willing to carry responsibilities and not just carry it, but carry it with grace. Uh, Leadership. Man, this is such a top topic that we can go on and on, but that's what inspired me through what I went through. The leadership inspired me to even write this book. The shift, the moment my life was flipped, because like I said, laying in a hospital bed is where I had to make a decision to get up and to stand up and to keep moving. So we talk about leadership. I try to be a leader in my home. If I see some dirty dishes in the sink, I'm not gonna complain who didn't wash the dishes. I'm just gonna wash them. We can talk about it later on, but I lead. I'm leading when it comes to serving. I'm leading when it comes to saying forgiveness. I'm leading when it comes to saying I'm sorry. I'm leading when it comes to say I messed up. But leadership comes from leading by example. And today I just want to pretty much I'm gonna wrap this up because I know we've been going on and on and on. But tonight I want to leave you with this thought. True, how should I say this? True greatness is not measured about how high you can climb. It's measured about how many people rise because you the one showed up, because you the one set the example, because you showed that it's possible. So we got to be the example for someone, be the example of hope. And hope is helping one person every day. So to claim leadership, I need you to be the ones to just be that breakthrough or be that change that someone else is looking for.
Thank you,
Hey, that's
Maurice.
my time.
We've got to get to the next speaker, brother. You did a great job. We're going to make sure your contact information is on your episode. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Dino, bring in the next speaker. All right. Thank you.